And finally, number 5, finding your break-even point. Let's dive in. Section 1, Needs, Wants, and Profit. At its very core, business is really just about human behavior, specifically fulfilling 2 distinct categories of demand. On one hand, we have our needs. These are the absolute non-negotiables for survival, like food, clean water, shelter, and basic healthcare. On the other hand, we have wants. These are the desires that elevate our lifestyle, things like smartphones, designer clothes, or those nice vacations. Grasping this distinction isn't just basic theory, honestly. It fundamentally dictates product positioning, target demographics, and market strategy. But hey, satisfying customers is really just one piece of the puzzle. A business is constantly juggling 4 concurrent goals to stay viable: earning profit, driving growth, ensuring survival, and satisfying customers. And while not every single action immediately generates cash, without earning a profit, which literally just means bringing in more money than goes out, well, those other 3 goals become mathematically impossible. Think of growth and profit like the engines of a business. They completely go hand in hand. Profit is essentially your fuel. So if you want to expand your sales, launch new products, or open new locations over time, which is growth, you absolutely need the profit to fund it. They act as the dual engines driving the entire business forward. Section 2, the factors of production. All right, so how does a business actually build the supply to meet that demand we just talked about? Well, it combines 4 foundational resources, which are known as the factors of production. First up is land, meaning natural resources yielding rent. Second is labor, human capital paid in wages. Third, capital, the machinery and funding that earn interest. And finally, the catalyst for the whole operation, enterprise. What's truly fascinating here is that enterprise is the real spark. I mean, land, labor, and capital don't just magically assemble themselves into a Fortune 500 company, right? Enterprise represents the entrepreneur, that visionary who is absorbing the ultimate risk to organize the other 3. They are literally putting their time, their money, and their reputation on the line. And the specific reward for taking on that massive risk? Profit. Section 3, business operations and structures. Now, while industry covers the actual production of goods, like, say, a farm growing wheat or a factory building furniture, that's honestly only half the battle. Commerce and trade are the vital connective tissue linking the product to the customer. Commerce involves the logistics, transport, banking, and insurance to move goods around, while trade is the literal exchange of buying and selling across local or international borders. As operations scale up, entrepreneurs have to choose a legal structure. The critical difference here really comes down to liability across these 3 models. Take a sole trader. 1 owner, unlimited liability. That means personal assets are totally on the line if debts pile up. A partnership shares that burden among 2 or more owners. But a company, which is owned by shareholders, offers limited liability. If a major chain collapses, investors only lose their initial stake, not their personal life savings. It's a huge distinction. Section 4, calculating revenue and profit. Okay, time for the hard math. To calculate profit, you need to ruthlessly categorize your expenses. Let's use Aisha's Bakery as a quick case study. Every business has fixed costs. These stay exactly the same no matter how much you produce. For Aisha, that's her $2,000 a month for rent and staff. She pays that even if she bakes 0 cupcakes. Then we have variable costs. These rise and fall directly with output. For Aisha, it costs $2 in ingredients like flour and sugar to bake 1 single cupcake. So the more she bakes, the higher those variable costs go. Let's actually run Aisha's monthly calculations. Say last month, Aisha sold 650 cupcakes at a price of $6 each. Step 1 is calculating total revenue, which is just price times quantity. So $6 multiplied by 650 gives her $3,900 in money coming in. Step 2 is total cost. That's her fixed cost of $2,000 plus her variable cost, which is $2 times those 650 cupcakes she made. That equals $3,300. Finally, step 3, profit. We take her total revenue of $3,900, subtract her total cost of $3,300, leaving Aisha with a healthy profit of $600 for the month. Pretty cool, right? Section 5, finding your break-even point. And that brings us to, honestly, the most crucial metric for any new entrepreneur, the break-even point. This is the exact number of items you must sell so that your profit is exactly 0, meaning you've completely covered your costs, but you just haven't made any extra money yet. The formula is fixed cost divided by price minus variable cost. Let's run Aisha's numbers again. Her fixed cost is $2,000. Her price is $6 minus her variable cost of 2, which equals 4. 2,000 divided by 4 equals 500. So Aisha must sell exactly 500 cupcakes to break even. If she sells 499, she takes a loss. But if she sells 501, she is finally in the green. Now, I want to challenge you to put this into practice. Let's try this together using the formula we just learned. Imagine a phone case seller has fixed costs of $500 a month. Her variable cost is $3 per case. If she sells the cases for $8 each, what is her break-even quantity? Take a second and do the math in your head. All right, the answer is 100 cases. Did you get it right? Here's how it works. We take the $500 fixed cost and divide it by the price of $8 minus the variable cost of $3. So 500 divided by 5 equals 100. If you got that, you literally now have the real-world toolkit to analyze everyday business scenarios and figure out exactly what a company needs to survive. So you now know exactly how to calculate profit, classify business structures, and find that all-important break-even point. But I want to leave you with this final kind of provocative thought. We used an $8 price tag for that phone case, right? But who actually decided it should be $8? How do the invisible forces of supply and demand actually set the price of everything a business sells to begin with? It's a massive question, and it's exactly what we'll be tackling in our next explainer. Thanks so much for joining me today. Keep analyzing those businesses around you, and I'll catch you next time.